When Sarah, Mark, and I embarked on our urban exploration trip to Mexico City, we were eager for adventure. The vibrant streets, the ancient ruins, the colorful markets, they were all incredible. But nothing could prepare us for Isla de las Muñecas, the island of dolls. The island, hidden deep within the canals of Xochimilco, was infamous. Legends spoke of it being haunted by the spirits of drowned children, with thousands of dolls hanging from trees, buildings, and fences. They were left there as offerings to appease the restless spirits. Our journey began early one morning. We took a boat or trajinera from the mainland, navigating the serene yet eerie waters. As we approached the island, the atmosphere changed dramatically. The air grew thick and cold, and an unsettling silence replaced the sounds of the bustling city. The sight of the island itself was unnerving. Dolls in various states of decay, with missing limbs and empty eyes, stared down at us from every direction. "Ready?" Mark asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Yeah, let's do this," Sarah replied, her bravado masking the fear we all felt. We disembarked, and the wooden dock creaked under our weight. The island seemed almost alive, watching us with its myriad doll eyes. We split up, each taking a different path through the dense, doll-infested woods, planning to meet back at the dock in an hour. I headed down a narrow trail, the doll's lifeless eyes following my every step. The deeper I went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Shadows seemed to shift and dance in the corners of my vision. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As I rounded a corner, I saw a small, run-down shack. Its door was slightly ajar, creaking in the faint breeze. I hesitated, but then decided to enter. Inside, the air was musty and cold. More dolls hung from the ceiling and walls, their faces frozen in silent screams. Suddenly, I heard a faint whispering. I turned, heart pounding, but saw nothing. The whispering grew louder, overlapping voices speaking in a language I couldn't understand. I backed away, bumping into a table. A doll fell off and landed at my feet. Its head rolled off, and I nearly screamed. I bolted out of the shack and ran through the woods, my flashlight flickering. The whispering followed me, growing louder and more insistent. Panic set in. I tripped over a root and fell, scraping my hands and knees. As I got up, I saw Sarah and Mark running towards me, their faces pale and eyes wide with fear. "Did you hear it?" Sarah asked breathlessly. "The whispering?" Mark added, his voice shaking. I nodded, too terrified to speak. We decided to head back to the dock and leave the island. As we made our way back, the whispering persisted, now accompanied by faint giggles and the sound of small feet running through the underbrush. When we finally reached the dock, our boat was gone. Panic turned to dread. We were stranded. The whispering grew louder, and shadows seemed to close in around us. "We need to find another way off this island," Sarah said, her voice quivering. "There's gotta be another boat or something," Mark added, trying to stay calm. We searched the perimeter of the island, but there was no sign of another boat. The whispering and giggling intensified, now sounding like it was right next to us. We huddled together, our flashlights the only source of light in the encroaching darkness. Out of nowhere, a child's voice, clear and distinct, whispered, "Play with us." We spun around but saw nothing. The air grew colder, and the dolls seemed to move, their eyes following us more intently. "Let's get to higher ground," I suggested, hoping to find a vantage point to signal for help. We climbed a small hill and reached a clearing where an old rickety treehouse stood. We climbed up, the wooden boards creaking under our weight. From there, we could see the vast expanse of the island, dotted with countless dolls swaying gently in the breeze. As night fell, the temperature plummeted. We huddled together for warmth, our flashlights flickering. The whispering and giggling never stopped, echoing around us, accompanied by the rustling of leaves and the occasional snap of a twig. Suddenly, the treehouse shook violently. We grabbed onto the sides, trying to steady ourselves. The dolls below seemed to come alive, their heads turning towards us, eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. "We need to get out of here!" Sarah shouted, panic evident in her voice. "We have to stay together," Mark insisted. "If we split up, we're done for." We climbed down from the treehouse, the ground feeling more unstable with each step. The air was thick with an overwhelming sense of dread. The whispering turned into low, sinister chants, and the giggling became maniacal laughter. In the distance, we saw a faint light. Hope surged through us, and we ran towards it, stumbling over roots and rocks. As we got closer, we realized it was a lantern hanging from a post near an old, dilapidated hut. Inside the hut, we found an elderly man, his eyes filled with sorrow and fear. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice trembling. "The spirits, they don't like visitors." "We need to get off this island," Mark pleaded. "Our boat is gone." The old man nodded slowly. "I can help you, but it comes at a price." "Anything," I said desperately. "Just get us out of here." He handed us an old, tattered map and pointed to a spot on the island. "There's an ancient shrine there. You must offer something precious to appease the spirits. Only then will you be free." We thanked him and followed the map, the whispers and laughter growing louder with each step. When we reached the shrine, we saw a stone altar covered in moss and vines. "What do we offer?" Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Something precious," Mark repeated. "What do we have?" I pulled out my grandmother's locket, the one thing I always carried with me. It was the most precious item I had. With a heavy heart, I placed it on the altar. The wind picked up, swirling around us. The whispers and laughter reached a deafening crescendo, and then, abruptly, everything went silent. The air grew warm again, and the oppressive feeling lifted. We made our way back to the dock, and to our amazement, our boat was there, gently rocking in the water. We didn't question it. We just got in and paddled away as fast as we could. As we left the island behind, we could still see the dolls, their eyes following us until they were just specks in the distance. We never spoke of that night again, but the memory haunted us. The island of dolls had left its mark on us, a reminder of the darkness that lurks in the world, waiting to be awakened by the unwary. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still hear the whispering.